Hello, my name is Octavian Caisobeada. I'm a retired family nurse practitioner, Romanian Christian apologist, and educator, currently living in upstate New York. I teach apologetics at the Institute of Apologetics and at the Baptist Theological Institute in Bucharest, Romania. Throughout my years in medicine, theology, philosophy, and apologetics, I have become increasingly convinced that faith and reason are not enemies, but partners in humanity's search for truth. Well, this book is a result of that conviction. In an age shaped by scientific advancement, philosophical skepticism, and cultural uncertainty, one question continues to challenge both believers and skeptics alike. Can faith and reason truly coexist? Well, Bridge Faith and Reason, apologists behind Concordism, Anachronism, and Scientism invite readers into one of the most important intellectual and spiritual conversations of our time. And in this work, I confront the tension between theology, philosophy, and science with honesty, depth, and intellectual rigor, offering what I believe is a fresh vision for Christian apologetics in the modern world. For centuries, Christians have wrestled with how divine revelation relates to human inquiry. Is science a threat to faith? Must scripture be forced into modern scientific categories to remain credible? Can reason lead us closer to truth without undermining the authority of revelation? Well, in this book, I argue that authentic apologetic does not require reducing theology to science, nor dismissing science in the defense of faith. Instead, I propose a richer and more balanced approach, one that respects the integrity of both scientific investigation and theological reflection. And at the heart of the book, it's a critique of three major distortions that often shapes contemporary discussion about Christianity and knowledge. Well, the first is the Concordism, the attempt to force every biblical passages into agreement with modern scientific discovery. While often motivated by a sincere desire to defend Scripture, Concordism can unintentionally flatten the theological depth and literal richness of the Bible by treating it as a scientific textbook rather than divine revelation. Well, a second distortion is anachronism, the projection of modern scientific assumption into the ancient biblical text. And this approach risks misunderstanding both scriptures and history by reading contemporary categories into the writings that were never intended to address modern scientific questions. Well, the third one is scientism, the belief that empirical science is not only valid path to knowledge, is the only valid path to knowledge. Okay? That's scientism, the belief that empirical science is the only valid path to knowledge. And I carefully examine how scientism narrow human understanding by excluding philosophy, theology, morality, beauty, and spiritual truth for meaningful discourse. And doing so, I challenge the cultural assumption that measurable data alone can answer humanity's deepest questions about meaning, purpose, and existence. Yet this work is not merely critical. It is deeply constructive. In the Bridge Faith and Reason, I present a vision of apologetics rooted in humility, intellectual honesty, and theological depth. I encourage readers to approach Scripture with careful interpretation, philosophical reflection, and openness to scientific discovery without allowing any single discipline to dominate the others. Through discussions of Genesis, Job, the Psalm, philosophy of science, epistemology, and biblical theology, I demonstrate that Christian faith is not weakened by honest inquiry. Rather, faith becomes stronger when it engages difficult questions with courage and wisdom. And ultimately, the book is an invitation. It is an invitation to think deeply, move behind simplistic answer, and rediscover the harmony between reason and revelation. It calls believers and skeptics alike into a conversation about truth, knowledge, and the God who stands at the source of both. Bridge faith and reason. Apologetics behind Concordism, Anachronism, and Scientism is more than a defense. It is more than that. It is a call to intellectual humility, spiritual depth, and a renewed vision of what it means to seek truth in a complex world. Because truth should never fear honest inquiry. An authentic faith should never be afraid of reason. Well, Bridge Faith and Reason, Apologetics Behind Concordism, Anachronism, and Scientism. It's available through Amazon, Google Books, and Apple Books. May God bless you and take your time to listening to this Romanian with a heavy accent trying to pronounce English words. Thank you so much.